What's up, everybody? This is Zach with Affordable Fishing. Uh, this is not actually a review. Just going to give you some pointers on my favorite rods I've got that I always keep in the boat. None of these are too expensive. I've only got one that might be out of some people's price range. Typically, I try to keep everything below $150. I've got one rod out of three here that I actually spent about 300 on total. Uh, But let's get started on this one. This I strictly use for my top water. As you can see, I've got a Hedon, however you want to pronounce it, Super Spook on here, chrome. Caught a lot of fish on this rod. This is the Boyd Duckett Ghost, 6 foot 8 inches, medium heavy. I throw 10-pound mono on it to give it that little stretch. I live close to Lake Lanier, so we have a lot of aggressive spotted bass and some fairly big stripers. So I like using mono on all my top water lures because it provides that extra cushion when they hit. The reel is an Okuma Stratus V. I've got three of these reels actually, and they work awesome. I got a pretty good sell on them one day. I got all three of them for like $70 or $75. I bought those from Dick's. The rod came from Hammond's Crossing. It's a little country store here that we have that pretty much every fisherman knows about. Um, but yeah, that's my preferred top water rod. Everything about it works awesome. The rod is actually sensitive enough you could throw a jig on it. If I have to, I'll switch out to it. And it's not really micro eyes, but they are smaller than standard eyes. You can go up to the Micro Magic. It's a little more money, but I just stick with the Ghost because it works awesome. And that reel has awesome drag. I've never had any issues out of it. I've caught 8 and 10-pound stripers on it, and it handles those pretty easy. Moving on, I'll get the... oh, by the way, the rod, this Ghost is actually about $100, I think, brand new. And like I said, I got the reel on sale. But yeah, for less than $150, awesome setup. We're going to try to knock this expensive rod out of the way. Well, what I consider expensive, if I don't break it first. Right here we have the G Loomis E6X. I bought this rod when it first came out, so it was a little bit more money. It was over 200, I know, when I bought it. They've gone down in price. They're about 180 now, and you could probably get them on sale at times. Works really awesome. I always throw my jig on this thing. It is so sensitive. I caught a 3.5-pound largemouth in the tournament last year, and all I felt was it breathe on it. I wasn't even positive it was a fish because I've never had any rods that were this sensitive, and I'm actually still getting used to it because it's that sensitive. The reel is a Bass Pro Shops Extreme. I paid right at $100 for it, and once again, it's a awesome reel. Drag system works amazing. It was really easy to figure out how to tune it up because I've only been fishing with bait casters for 4 or 5 years, but this reel was extremely easy to set up and to get to used to throwing. It took a little bit of a break-in period. But once that was accomplished, it casted beautiful. And with it being my jig rod, I actually throw 15-pound fluorocarbon. On Lake Lanier, we don't have to throw anything real heavy. It's pretty open lake. You might have a laydown you throw in. That's about as thick cover as you're going to get. We don't have any kind of hydrilla grass growing, so we don't have to beef everything up. As long as you can keep them out of the tree or rocks, you're golden. And most everything we have is very open water. So that's right at $300 for this setup. You could go to your preferred reel, whatever you like. But if you get a chance to, this rod is definitely worth the money. Um, yeah, it actually took me about 3 months to save up for getting this because everybody knows there's other things you have to take care of in your life. Unless you just make an outrageous amount of money and can just pop $300 anytime you want to, I would probably have my entire boat outfitted with these rods because I love them that much. Uh, On to the next rod. This is our last rod in this. Now, these are just my top three that I have. I have a lot more rods, but these are well worth the money compared to the rest of the ones I have. This rod, as you can see, I have rigged with an underspin, and this is all I throw on this rod. I've never actually tried a jig or a worm on this. I feel like it would probably do really well for worms, maybe not a jig because it's just not that sensitive. But for throwing an underspin, it works beautifully. I can feel every little nook and cranny on the bottom with this thing. It's an Okuma Reflections. This rod was only about $50 or $60. It was extremely affordable. I upped the reel a little bit. Originally, I think I had one of the Akumas on this at one point, but I took it off and switched to another rod just because I liked it better on that. And when I bought this reel, I put a Lew's Speed Spool on, and it works really well. Pretty much everybody knows Lew's is good quality components in it. It's a little bit higher on the retrieve than what most people throw underspins on, but I just reel it a little slower, and then I can power them out of whatever I'm throwing because I love throwing these things in rocks. And when they hit, they want to go straight back into the nasty stuff. And I really try my best to get them out of that. I've got 12-pound mono on. Seems to work pretty well. It absorbs all the shock. And the only fish I've ever broke off on it was because I took a guy out with me and let him adjust the drag. And he put the drag on too much. And then the next day I went out and hooked about a 6-pound spot, and it got to the boat, and when it decided to go down, it took everything. There wasn't anything I could do, so it really hurt my pride. But yeah, those three setups are awesome for me. Definitely, I would suggest this rod to anybody, and even if it's a professional fisherman, I would suggest this rod for $50 or $60. Okuma makes some really great stuff, and I've gotten to where I'm fishing a lot more of their stuff. But yeah, it's a beautiful rod too, so you can take that into consideration. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps you out some. I'll go through some of my other equipment at some point and just cover some of my cheaper rods that they do work, and you will catch big fish on them. They're just not as high quality as these. But for most people, these are affordable fishing rods and reels, and hopefully you can get out there and put some big fish in the boat. So hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good day.